Hi everyone. Welcome to Partner Pulse, a podcast series specifically meant for partners, brought to you by TestGrid. I'm your host Dipanvita Kar, managing partnerships globally for TestGrid, and today I have with me for the inaugural series of this podcast Hema Lata Murugesan. Hema, thank you for joining with us today. Talking a little bit about Hema, she comes with 27 years plus experience in the space of software testing. She is currently the Assistant Vice President at LTM. Welcome to the series, ma'am. With that, we would like to hear a little bit about you, ma'am, regarding your experience in this industry before we get started off with the questions.
Sure, Dipanvita. It's a pleasure to be here, to be in this podcast. As you rightly mentioned, yes, I have over 26, 27 years of industry experience, primarily in specialized testing, incubating various testing niche services, be it in performance, test data management, service virtualization, and many other things. And today, the talk of the town is AI. So, having said that, I have also incubated AI trust assurance at LTM. That is the need of the hour where applications being generated or developed using AI needs to be tested, and that's something that we provide. In this process, I've also have an opportunity to work with multiple, almost major clients across the globe, travel widely across the globe, as well as being very, I would say, work closely with them to help achieve, solve their business problems, and also closely work with the partners because it's like a triangle, right? So we would need tools, we would need their inputs as well to make things work out there. So that's where it is. And I've also had the opportunity to work with a lot of leaders, industry leaders, mentored by them, published multiple articles and presented in multiple forums, um, books. And also I would say I'm take great pride in taking testing lessons to the engineering colleges, then education through educational satellite, way back in 2006 7, which today you have everything on the mobile, but those are the days where technology was not as advanced as it was. So that's where it is. So I look forward to see how I can contribute more, understand the disruptions, and come up with new service lines.
Fantastic. This is very enriching here. So when we talk about change, now we are talking about AI. Earlier there were, IoT and all those things. So it's not only the technology that changes. Along with the technology, the leadership mindset also has to change, right? So, how have you been, taking care of all these changes, ensuring that delivery is successful and the customer is actually getting more hooked with the team and the delivery? So,
Okay. See, yes, you're right. I have been, I would say, I don't know whether I can say lucky or unlucky, but I have been the opportunity to go through the multiple, industry cycles, be it the dot-com burst or the Y2K era, or the cloud, this one, and now AI era. So every time you have, there is always a disruption, and the clients also would like to adopt quickly the changes that is happening. Unlike in the past, where it used to take some time, couple of quarters or years before the technology actually becomes mainstream, today's era is very different. Where even before it's getting out of the kitchen, it's already in the it getting mainstream. So adapting those changes needs always a constant, I would say, understanding of the technology, its impact of the technology, both in terms of business, in terms of the end customers, as well as in terms of, our own team members, and how do we upskill and all those things. There could be a change in the process. There could be change in the way you adopt the technology. Your entire cycle could get disrupted. Like when we had waterfall method, it was a totally different way of doing things. When it became agile, then pod, and everything is changing so fast. So you have to, one thing, you need to be transparent upfront. If there is a change, how is it going to impact to the clients? The moment you are open, honest, and transparent, there is far more acceptance by the clients as well. And there is a trust factor builds in. Even if it gets delayed, even if the project gets into some rough things, and it is obvious, right? At least keeping the client transparent and informed on a timely basis resolves a lot of those this ones. And that's where, as a leader, being honest and being transparent is very, very crucial, supported by data, content, and the competence.
Lovely. How do you think that the decision making at scale, particularly, because if it is in silos, it's a different story. If it is at scale, dealing with the customer, that's a completely different approach. How do you think that one have evolved through time and through changes?
Decision making at scale. Okay, interesting question. In an era where you are, as leaders, are forced to make quick decisions, it's sometimes important to pause for some time, not for a longer duration, but take collective consensus decisions, right? Try seek inputs from your leaders, your next line, or other leaders in the organization, or maybe you might want to see if there is such a thing has happened in the industry and you want to take some experience out of gain experience out of this. There is no point in time a leader is going to have all the information, and because if you try to have all the information, it's going to become a competitive disadvantage for you, right? So why the way I look at it is, try and have brainstorm with your teams and see how you can take a decision which is probably reversible at later point in time, because some you have to learn from the decisions, good or bad. You learn out of it, and then you work through this. And when you keep inform this all the stakeholders, your team members, the employees, your leaders, your the board, everybody, there is a lot more appreciative out of this. And our one of our greatest leaders, Mr. Ratan Tata, has also said, life is always ups and downs, right? There is no point in having a straight line. Even in ECG, it is a straight line.
Yes,
Have no
right.
life,
Right.
right? So accept it, and you learn through the mistakes, you learn through the good and bad decisions, and when you make it at scale, that's how it is. And only thing is, you have to make the decisions provided you have that skill. Not always you'll have all the contents about it, but leverage the skills from the people who have it, right? You may not don't take an when this kind of critical decisions are made, it should be consensus, where you have a larger team ecosystem bring in, so that everybody comes from their perspective, and you take a collective information, unless there has something which is going to make you take an individual decision, which could be quoted in. But all this, at no point in time should you compromise on integrity, ethics, and values, because always as a leader, you would be at crossroads to compromise on this. Never do that. And that helps you even if you take a slightly deviated decision, because of these integrity and values, you would be
Mhm.
able to spring back very soon.
Lovely. In fact, a couple of things in last two questions. I uh, I heard that you believe in collective leadership. So that is a very, very strong leadership trait. Now, this also means that not only that you are working in a one team approach in a collective leadership, you're also mentoring leaders. You're creating the leaders for the future, right? So, in this, and again, disruption is what is happening right now around us. So, what are the challenges that you feel that right now you as a leader you're facing when you're grooming your next generation?
Today we are in a crux where you have a little, the zen, the baby boomers or this kind of a stuff, and now the zen y z alpha is coming into picture, right? As a leader, you are in a very I've earlier we used to say three generations, right? Today
Mhm.
we are having generations who have expectations are very instantaneous, they are instant gratification, right? Unlike in the people who are working in industrial revolution 1, 2, and all, the loyalty and commitment to the organization or to
That's
that
right.
industry is very, very high. Today, that I don't think so we can expect, and that is something that I've learned it over the years. The commitment, the dedication is not something that we can expect it. And we need to create, and the leaders need to create an ecosystem where these people feel connected, involved, and also the gratification is provided. And given that the information is there at their fingertips, right? Uh, their ability to disrupt things are much much higher, unlike what happened with our fathers or grandfathers era. And I constant engage them and keeping them motivated, feeding them the right thing in their brain is very, very
Mhm.
important. because there is so much of misinformation that's going on. So, as leaders, transparent, accurate information is very important to them. And it's not necessarily that you'll have latest and the greatest, but keeping them constantly informed is very, very crucial. And engaging them in whatever ways that is possible, which is something. And I think this is an evolving space because the way the alphas and the Gen Zs and the Ys are behaving, it is, you know, it is slightly difficult, is what I would say, as we navigate through this. But once you make them aware, once you make them what's in for you, for them, in the work that they're doing or in the project that they're doing, things would definitely come to a, more acceptable place.
True. The current generation is full of energies, right?
Exactly.
And again, you have very rightly said that we need to feed them the right data so that their energy can be channelized in a
And
positive
engage
way
them. Yeah.
and engage them, keep on engaging them. If there is any innovation, they would not stick by the rules in the book,
Yeah.
but they would rather go ahead and try things out. The innovation and the accountability, that is something which has a very thin line between innovate anyone can, but then innovating it in an accountable way. That is something which they need to be taught and rather they need to be made aware of. So, how do you think? Because you are managing teams of tens and thousands of people in your organization, and even though not directly, but then you are seeing the changes happening at the at the starting level of fresher joining. So how do you manage that innovation through accountability and
Okay. Um, Very interesting question, because in the world of AI, you just prompt something and you get something out, right? But is it right or wrong is the question. And that's where leaders also needs to ensure that the output that's been given from AI definitely needs to be validated.
right?
That's what I was saying. AI trust assurance is the stuff I was talking about. The service offering that I've incubated. Innovation, typically what we see is, innovation is some, set of folks who are in the Eiffel Tower and they would do the innovation and we just consume it. The way I look at it, innovation can happen from anybody, from any nook and corner, from any person in the organization, right? And we've heard about stories about on that, like Post-it and all, is something which was not even from. So we should create an ecosystem, a platform for every individual to share his ideas, and also need an ecosystem or a forum where the team members, the organization, the employees have their eyes, ears, and all their senses to what's happening among the clients. What is the challenges the clients are having? What problems they are facing? What problems are the industry facing? It could be in a domain specific. It could be client specific. It could be geo specific. It could be whatever it is, right? If you start looking into that, applying our design thinking principles as well, then automatically people will start looking at it when you create this forum and see how we can come up with some kind of a mind share to build this solutioning and all those things, right? You can probably run hackathons, run some kind of mindset sessions, and also encourage individuals, and also uh, I would say provide the right appreciation to them. It need not be always monetary. When you encourage them to do it and you give, and you, it's human psychology, right? Where any appreciation helps and motivates the team members to do much more. So that's what I look at it. Innovation, we should look at it. It should be on the shop floor, right at everything. Even as simple as email etiquette that you're trying to do can also be done much more innovative. I know today people are using AI, but I think we should look at bringing in innovation at every layers, every level, in all walks of life.
That's fantastic. And innovation is just happening, right? There is
Yes,
no
innovation. We
stop to
should
it.
make innovation contagious.
Correct, correct, correct. So, with that note, I am very much sure that in next 3 years, 5 years, we are going to see more and more innovation. And in fact, I really liked when you said that innovation can be at any layer, even an email etiquette. That can be innovating, right? So, what do you think in next 3 years, 5 years? Because innovation is not stopping. How do you see the the market changing, the leaders? taking care of their teams. But particularly for 3 to 5 years, how do you see everything changing around?
See, it ultimately boils down to the qualities the leadership possess, right? As I said, trust, honesty is very important. Acquiring the knowledge, continue to acquire knowledge as much as possible because that is what is going to stay. With the disruption that is happening, it is really difficult to say how this whole industry is going to change. Not just in the IT industry, any industry for that, because adoption of this, all this technology is happening in every nook and
Right.
corner, right? Even a milkman is using AI. Forget about
Exactly.
right. So it is very difficult, but the basics will never change. The qualities of leaders, be having empathy, having the right values, having the right ethics, should never be compromised at any point in time. So that is what we will take you forward. And many organizations, if you see, have really failed or gone through rough patches because of compromise on some of the key qualities that the leaders
Right.
have. That's the thing I would say.
This is very inspiring, and I am very sure that the teams who have been rolling up to you or the orgs that you have been leading, they're very fortunate. So that was lovely, Hema. Talking with you as usual. You're always inspiring. Any conversation, be that your keynote or podcast or just a chat over coffee, is always inspiring.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.